The most powerful military on Earth just bombed a country back to the Stone Age, killed its supreme leader, destroyed its air force, hit its nuclear sites, and that country's response wasn't surrender, it wasn't retaliation. It reached for a weapon no bomb can destroy, and in one move, shut off 20% of the world's entire oil supply. Fuel prices exploding, NATO fracturing, the global economy bleeding out by the hour, and the United States, with all its carriers, its missiles, its trillion-dollar defense budget, is standing in front of 21 miles of water and cannot open it. This is not a war story. This is a masterclass in how a dying empire makes the whole world feel it on the way down. To understand what just happened, you need to understand what the Strait of Hormuz actually is. It is 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. That's it. You could drive it in 20 minutes. Through that 21-mile gap flows 20% of the world's entire oil supply, 20% of its liquefied natural gas. It is the only maritime route for Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, entire countries with no other way to move their energy to the world. There is no alternative, no bypass, no plan B. If the strait closes, the oil stops. And when the oil stops, everything stops. Fuel prices, food prices, manufacturing, supply chains, every single thing that runs on energy, which is everything, grinds to a halt. Oil prices surged faster than any conflict in modern history. $126 a barrel, the highest in 4 years. That is not a Middle East problem. That is your gas station, your grocery bill, your electricity bill, your everything. And Iran knew exactly what it was doing. Here is the chess move the Western media keeps failing to explain. Iran and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury on February 28, 2026. They bombed Iran's military sites, nuclear facilities. They killed Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. The calculation was simple. Destroy the leadership, destroy the nuclear program, Iran collapses or surrenders. What they did not account for was this. Iran has almost 1,000 miles of coastline, mobile missile batteries hidden in mountains, valleys, islands, positions that are nearly impossible to locate from the air. You cannot bomb a coastline into submission. You cannot airstrike geography out of existence. And then Iran did something nobody expected. It didn't close the strait to everyone. It closed it selectively. China allowed through. Russia allowed through. India, Pakistan, Iraq, all allowed through. Western shipping blocked, attacked, set on fire. Iran didn't close the strait in desperation. It closed it strategically, letting its allies pass, strangling its enemies, turning a waterway into a weapon with a targeting system. That is not a country that is losing. That is a country that has been waiting decades to play this card. Now, here is where it gets even more dangerous. Iran is now demanding something that has never appeared in any previous negotiation: recognition of sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Not sanctions relief, not nuclear rights, not a peace deal. They want to own the strait, legally, permanently, and they want to charge every ship that passes through it. At $2 million per tanker, that is $20 million a day, $800 million a month just from oil tankers alone. Egypt makes that same amount from the Suez Canal, an artificial waterway it built with its own hands over 100 years ago. Iran is trying to do the same thing, except with a strait it simply sits next to. And the terrifying part is right now it is working. Ship tracking data already shows tankers hugging the Iranian coastline. Some operators are reportedly paying for safe passage. Nobody is publicly admitting it, but the money is moving. Iran is already running the toll booth. The United States has no good options. Accept $100 oil and watch the political fallout at home? Try to force the strait open militarily and risk American casualties at massive scale? Pressure China, which gets nearly half its oil through Hormuz, to drag Iran to the negotiating table? Or seize Karg Island, Iran's main oil terminal, and try to economically collapse the regime before it escalates further? Every option is dangerous. Every option has a price. And while Washington debates, NATO allies have refused to help. Trump launched this war without consulting them. Now he wants their navies to clean it up. They said no. The alliance is in the worst internal crisis in its entire history. The most powerful military on Earth, the most powerful alliance in modern history, both of them stuck. Iran came into this conflict as the most sanctioned, most isolated, most bombed-down country in the region, and yet it is holding the global economy hostage because it had one card that no airstrike could ever touch: geography. Everyone knew the Strait of Hormuz was Iran's ultimate weapon. Every president, every general, every intelligence analyst for 40 years. And when the moment came, the world acted like it forgot. Now oil is at $126 a barrel. NATO is fracturing. The strait has been closed for over a month. Iran's new supreme leader gave his first public address and said the leverage of the strait must continue to be used. This is what happens when you corner a country and forget what it's holding. The strait is still closed. There is no deal. There is no clear end. And 20% of the world's oil isn't moving. If this video made you see this conflict differently, subscribe. We cover the stories about how power actually works, not the version they hand you on the news. Drop it in the comments. Do you think Iran actually wins this, or does the US find a way to force it open? The throne always falls. We just document it.